Alright, so this is going to be my review for The Mechanic from 2011. I don't really know what made me want to throw this on. Just wanted to watch a, pretty simple action movie. Probably just because kept seeing the trailers for the new Mechanic movie. The Mechanicking. The Mechanic Reloaded? No. No, there's a new sequel coming out called Mechanic: Resurrection. Much more original. But anyways, I kept seeing the trailers, and I never watched this one, so I was like, I'll just throw The Mechanic on. I like a good Jason Statham movie, so this one is directed by Simon West, and the name sounded familiar, and then I looked at his filmography, and his first movie, Con Air, classic, super iconic, that was 97. I personally like Con Air. It is really fun. It's almost like a super good movie, but then just falls apart at the end. The last third to a quarter of the movie just turns into pure garbage. The rest of it's pretty sweet though. A lot of good Nicolas Cage one-liners. I don't think that's the director, Simon West's fault. That's just the writing. But anyways, that was his first movie. He did Lara Croft, Tomb Raider, When a Stranger Calls. After this, in 2011, he did The Expendables 2. So he's kind of been around here and there. But anyways, so this story follows Jason Statham's character. His name's Arthur Bishop. He's a mechanic. So basically, he's just a hired hitman in like a really well organized group. So his kind of go-to contact, or I don't know if he's his mentor. I think he was Harry McKenna, played by Donald Sutherland, and then one of his other bosses is played by Tony Goldwyn, Dean. So those are like the two guys that he gets his orders from and to go on hits. So starts out an okay job that he's on. Gets this guy in a swimming pool, and like his whole issue is, or his whole deal is that he's so good that he'll make these hits, he'll kill these people, and nobody will know that he was there. That's not like a flashy thing, no explosions, not like gonna be a bunch of head wounds or something like that. Just like accidental murders. That's his thing. And then he gets a job to actually go after Harry McKenna. So he has to go after Donald Sutherland, and he's pretty torn up about it because that's like his guy, that's like his mentor and whatnot. But he does it because Dean is like, well, he'd want it to be you, and I guess Jason Statham's kind of like, yeah, I guess it's better me than some other random person. So he does it, and after that he already knew him, but then he gets back in contact with Harry's son, Steve, and Steve's played by Ben Foster. And then after a couple run-ins, Steve wants to really find out what happened to his dad, so he's trying to find out what happened to Harry, and just wants to kill the guy. Doesn't really care. He's a drunk and just is going to do whatever he wants to get revenge. And then Jason Statham, Arthur, gets kind of a little sentimental and decides, okay, I'm going to help this guy out. I'll start training him. And so that's the deal. He's training him. They realize there was this kind of shifty plot. Maybe Harry wasn't really doing what they said he was doing, and then Arthur and Steve are going to go after the real people responsible. That's the plot. Surprisingly not interesting for just like kind of a straight up, very, very stereotypical Jason Statham movie. Not nearly as entertaining as the rest of his films. So, I don't know. I wouldn't recommend this. I guess I'll give the rating right now. I'm giving it a 2.5 out of 5. It's right in the middle. It's not like the worst thing ever. I didn't fall asleep or get extremely bored, but I just kind of uninterested the whole time. I was kind of like, nah, this is just not really getting me. It's just so similar to a lot of other Jason Statham movies like Crank and the Transporter series, except they don't have that kind of unique flavor that those have. Those have a little more uniqueness to them. Like with Transporter, he's just a driver, but he just happens to be extremely good at martial arts and protecting people. He's protecting people. It's his thing. He's really a good guy, even if he's maybe doing something illegal. He's still a good guy. He's gonna help people out, and the action's really good there. The Crank series is just like him on like speed the whole time. He's just going crazy. He's Hitman in that too, but there's a shtick to it. He's got to stay alive. He's about to die, and if he doesn't get adrenaline or get electricity, whatever it is, he needs to keep his heart going. And so it's like this super intense, high intensity adrenaline thing that's going on with those movies, and they're good. And this one's just kind of like, meh. He's a hitman. He does it quietly. He doesn't make a big deal out of it, and doesn't have much of a life or anything else. There's nothing else really going on with him, so pretty boring character. And just a couple other things with like the plot. It just doesn't make sense. He's Arthur's like this super careful guy with everything he does, and then he decides to take Ben on as like a protege, Ben Foster, Steve. But if you're so careful, why would you ever take this drunk? He's like a drunk, maybe does like a couple, maybe he's into drugs too. He's just a wild card, like just way too like out of control. Why would you ever take him on as a protege, especially when he's the son of the guy that you killed? It's just from the get-go, it makes no sense for him to take on that responsibility. And then, with that said, Ben Foster's a really good actor, but I just didn't think he was right for the part. I don't know. He's like, Ben Foster's like really good at playing a crazy guy, and here he just doesn't really. It's not that he's just like too restrained the whole time. I don't know. I'm just not right for the part for some reason. I didn't think his acting was very bad or anything like that, but it just wasn't right casting in my opinion. And then just like even the little things weren't that interesting, like the training montages. They could have had like a cool or somewhat entertaining training montage, and they're just boring. It's like some of the worst training montages ever. Make like Rocky training montages look like Oscar gold. Other than that, I liked Donald Sutherland was pretty compelling for when he was in it towards the beginning. I like Donald Sutherland. He's a good actor. Him and Statham have been in a movie before together. They were both in The Italian Job. That was like towards the beginning of Jason Statham's career. And Donald Sutherland had like a weird connection with Mark Wahlberg's character, and I didn't like it as much in that movie. Here he's like a little more badass, Donald Sutherland's character is, and a little more gritty. So he's good in it. But yeah, that's all my notes. I think that'll be it. So it's right in the middle. Again, a 2.5 out of 5, but I won't recommend it. It's boring. You can watch definitely better Jason Statham movies, the Crank movies, any of the Transporter movies, so you can probably skip it. Alright, that'll be it.